A multi-millionaire is telling you shouldn't buy a car. Maybe you might want to listen.
25 years. And please be very, like, what's bad about cars made in the last 25 years? And please be very specific.
Oh, I will. The first problem with new cars is you lose money hand over fist to depreciation.
Yes.
And then if you have to take out a loan for it, you're also paying interest on that.
Yes.
And one of the fastest ways I see normal people in general lose money is on new cars.
Yeah.
And they do it because they're afraid they can't work on it or service it.
That's exactly
That's
right.
basically the only real good reason.
Exactly right.
But then you get dealerships that just find new ways to not do their warranty work because that's where they make a lot of money. And that's a separate thing. So a new car, I mean, that's nice if you can afford it, but rather than buying a new $100,000 truck or SUV, I'd rather buy this nice used one for, I don't know, 15 or 20 and spend the rest of the money. I'll go, you know, if you got it, go buy a vintage Ferrari or a muscle car, something cool, you know, at least keep your money, have some fun. But it's more than that. Cars, I would say in the last 20 to 25 years, the evolution is not for the sake of the car and the person and so much of the experience. It's more for the sake of the nature of dealing with regulation and keeping a profit margin and building it. And when you do that, you make things that are inherently more prone to failing in the future and less serviceable. And that's not good for ownership or an actual lifespan.
So everything, I mean, I grew up working on a motorcycle with a carburetor and
I still got 'em.
rebuilding the carburetor, adjusting the float bowl, you know, had a timing light, adjust the points. I mean, all that stuff, just like really super basic mechanics. And, you know, there are lots of downsides to that. They break a lot.
Yep.
But you could understand it. My feeling is the vehicles that I have had that are newer, I mean, I have no idea how they work. I don't, fuel injection is still kind of a mystery to me. I'm sorry to say that. It is.
It works the same way as a carburetor. It's just metered and more complicated.
Well,
But I get the
I
point
guess
you're trying to make.
this trend toward making everything electric. I bought a truck last year, a Chevy truck, which I've always had, and I was at a gas station, and all of a sudden on the dashboard it says, "Stop, we're downloading information from the internet." Or
While
something.
you were driving,
No, I was stopped,
it just specifically wanted you to stay stopped so it can...
so it could, I don't know, download software. I sold the car immediately. I brought it back and sold it.
They wanted all your data to provide
No,
it to insurance
no,
companies
no,
to
no.
wreck your life, I'm
Is
sure.
that true?
Okay, insurance companies will be
possible.
the downfall of cars and driving. I guarantee it. And the other thing is all the cameras that are out there, everybody's putting cameras on their car. I'm like, okay, you guys...
Cameras on their car?
Well, I'm sure you've seen it. Like, people are buying little cameras to
Dash cams.
see what happens. If somebody does something stupid on the road, you can
Yeah.
use that to protect yourself legally, right? That's why they sell it.
It's never occurred to me, but yes.
Okay, what happens when those are mandated in every car everywhere? What happens when you're completely mandated control? Car shuts off at exactly 55 mile an hour speed limit, no matter what. It's just another method of slippery slope of control and it'll come from insurance companies.
And the law enforcement can turn off your car from afar, correct? Yeah, and they do.
Well, with certain cars.
Yeah,
Not
certain
mine.
cars. So what's when's the last year you could have a car that can't be controlled?
Oh, that's a good question because I don't mess around with those cars very often, or ever.
But is it fair to say
Ones that are connected to the internet or a satellite in some way. You know, OnStar kind of came about with your mirror, and I don't really know much about it, but that was kind of the first, I think, mainstream way when we saw cars were being specifically connected to something beyond yourself.
So would you say pre-9/11 cars are not?
They're a lot safer in terms of that. The other thing, too, in the early 2000s, a system called CAN bus system came out.
CAN bus.
It was to make wiring more efficient. You theoretically have less wires, but everything is tied together through almost like a spinal cord of the computer, and it has to speak to each other. And that was something else that's kind of a beginning of the end and being serviceable in the future and not creating cars with a lot of glitches.
It does feel like everything is. You're gonna have like fly-by-wire cars with, you know.
We already do. The other thing is a couple small points that are also happening. The right to repair your own private property is under attack. That's for farmers.
What does that mean?
Well, I think there was a big thing going on with John Deere tractors where farmers couldn't service their vehicles. They have to take them to the dealership and have to plug in with the computer that only the dealership has through the company. And forgive me if I got this wrong. I think it was John Deere. But that's something that's happening everywhere. Because if manufacturers or dealerships want more money, well, they want you to service with them. If they make it so you can only service with them no matter what, well, then they're going to, in an authoritarian way, force you to let them make the money, which is, frankly, another method of control. And when you start adding all of those things up, you just keep taking away all the power for the people before eventually you get to a point where you will even be able to own your own car anymore.
In the words, they're going to use security. Okay, well, it's going to be more secure. It's security. Don't you feel safer? Safety. But on the other hand, it's a Trojan horse. You're losing control bit by bit. No, you guys are not going to go protest. Yes, we are. Okay, switch off the electric cars then. We're in control of the cars. Your car doesn't work anymore. Or it doesn't drive to a specific area. In fact, if it's self-driving, it might even turn around. So it might let you drive, but it might turn around and drive you back in a zone where you should be in because you've entered a zone where you're not allowed in. It's above your pay grade, essentially. Whew.
And will you driving it be a liability to where if we have self-driving cars, it just takes you there at the most efficient time that whatever it wants you to, wants you to.
So that's like an attack on human autonomy, obviously.
Yeah, it's where that's going.
Freedom.
It's something
So
I hate.
I had a Harley Davidson, since I was in college in 1971, which,
Nice.
I could kind of understand. Great bike. But I bought a new Harley last year and they delivered it, big fun bike, fast, 6 speeds, which is
Actually comfortable.
crazy to me. And just the transmission is like great. I mean, my bike, you downshift, you got to pop the throttle.
Yeah, of
No
course.
return spring in the throttle. You got to pop it
Yeah.
like that to get it down. And so the shifting in this thing was just like beyond belief. But when they delivered it to my barn, I said, let's talk about how to change the oil, obviously. And they go, no, we don't. We actually recommend bringing it to the dealership. And I was like, yeah, but it's changing the oil in a motorcycle is like not hard. And they're like, well, there are gaskets and gaskets. Why would there be why did you have to replace a gasket to change the oil? Anyway, I brought it back to the dealership. Didn't want it.
Oh, really? You're like, no, I'm done with you guys.
I did. And they were great. I don't mean to attack them in any way. They were awesome people. Most motorcycle people are great people, and they definitely were. But I didn't want a motorcycle where you had to replace a gasket. I mean, like pop the jugs off, okay, but
I mean,
like
maybe
the
you
oil
might have
change?
a little like copper O-ring or aluminum O-ring or something on the drain plug, but like,
Well, of course, you always have
is this one of those
copper O-ring on
crazy
the
modern
drain plug.
manufacturing thing where you have to
There was a
disassemble half the
gasket,
engine?
and they're like, whoa. I was like, I'm not rebuilding the lower end. I just want to change the oil. And they're like, most of our customers bring that back to the dealership. And I don't know. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
And I felt like there was a scam involved,
yeah,
which is the one you described, right?
it just triggers something kind of in your
Because you're
in the back.
dependent
It's like
on
something's
somebody else.
wrong here. Yeah, well, and I don't.
And a lot of these things, they've got planned obsolescence in them. I hope I didn't butcher that word, which is essentially they're built to break or they're made to break in several years' time to keep the loop, keep you spending money. So it's just a bad idea, to be honest with you. If you're going to buy a car, buy a used car, by all means. But financing a car, it's a slippery slope, especially if you're not good with money. Good luck.
Say those things in a like kooky conspiratorial type of way, but it's literally where we're going. And when I see things like
literally.
that, and I mentioned about it'll be insurance companies that ruin it for everybody, because the other thing is, what happens when they start making it where you can't drive your older cars anymore?
So it's not a conspiracy theory, it turns out, to say there's fraud in the government, whether it's mysterious
happens
150-year-olds cashing checks or dead people on the
what's this?
voter.com/Tucker to claim this deal. Sign up before cons.
That was a little early before I started paying attention to the
That
goings on in the
was,
world,
so the
though.
federal government basically paid clunkers, like perfectly fine cars built before a certain date, you could redeem them for cash. And then they melted them. And I felt like there was something pretty sinister about that, but
Yeah.
maybe I'm just like one of those paranoid wackos who
Well-
don't think Randy Weaver deserved to be killed. I don't know. Maybe I'm just on the fringe.
If an industry,
Far right.
no, if an industry is no longer about innovation and it's so big that it can't fail and it's pushed to go a certain way, well, then the best way to ensure that it succeeds is force you to buy something new, even if it's not in your own best
No,
interest.
Exactly. But it does, you raised the question, which is how do you service vehicles made before 9/11? And that is why people don't want them. And I must
After.
say, made before. You said you
The
buy
ones made
ve-
before are easier to service than the ones made after.
Well, no, I mean, it's like if you buy an older vehicle and I drive an older vehicle, so I know it's like you can't just. I mean, you have to know someone who can fix it.
Yeah, of course, to an extent. Yeah.
But are we entering a world where there won't be any mechanics who know what a carburetor is, for example?
Well, I don't know about that so much. It's specialized, but they're simple. You can look at it and know the basic principles that are going on. It's the newer stuff that's crazy. For instance, my father-in-law recently got my mother-in-law this nice newer SUV. I think it's a BMW. I think it's a hybrid SUV. She likes it. And my father-in-law look at it and go by and we're like, there's a lot of servos and things whirring and buzzing. And I don't want to say it, but I guess I'm saying it now. It's kind of like, when is this thing going to break? And how much is that going to cost?
Yeah.
And no, you're not going to reasonably fix that. And then when that thing is older, that all these highly specialized little mechanisms and circuit boards and servos or whatever go bad, who's making that? And is it worth making it anymore? Or is it just another giant, complicated, toxic, wasteful thing that we go on in this vicious consumer cycle?
Let's see the comments real quick.
No, they just crush it.
Let's see the comments real quick. That was very interesting perspective. Was from both end, from Tucker and his guest that he's got on today. The industry has been working to get rid of the backyard mechanics for years. To be honest with you, I agree, but I think there's a bigger picture in mind. There's something bigger that's going on. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree as well. But I should, by the way, like the video. Long live the backyard mechanic. Teach your kids to fix ish. I agree, but if you don't know how to fix stuff, how are you going to teach them how to fix stuff? And if the new stuff that they're making is too complex to fix, how will your kids know how to? Unless they are, YouTubing a bunch of stuff, which I'm sure there will be a bunch of YouTube tutorials, but it will just be way too long than just paying somebody off to fix it for you. Never borrow money to buy a depreciating product or asset. It's not even an asset, it's a liability, to be honest with you. So I agree. Dad used to say, the more a car has, the more... Yeah, it's not just you, my friend, but most people who are wise, they say the more something has, the more there is to go wrong. And we're living in a world where they're building the Internet of Things. Everything's going to be internet based, so meaning everything is going to get way more complex. Tough times, man. Tough times are definitely coming. But yeah, this video was interesting to say the least. Thank you for the subscriber for just suggesting it. Thank you for watching. Like the video, comment your thoughts. Would you buy a car? Would you not? Brand new. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. God bless.